This is the 2025 Porsche Taycan 4S. Is it worth every penny? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. Today we're making our first visit to Porsche Shreveport here in Shreveport, Louisiana, and we're going to go over the particulars on this Taycan. If you want to know more, check out the link down in the description of the video. Tell whoever you talk to at the dealership that Tom from Vehicle Visionary sent you their way. The exterior color on this model is going to be volcano gray metallic, a very nice color that really pops in the sun. If you like a darker color, going to have that metallic look to it. Obviously, I don't know how well that shows up on the screen, but hopefully you can see it. And there are some changes to talk about, a little bit of a refresh for 2025. And let's talk about what those changes are for 2025. First of all, we have an all-new electric motor in the rear with more power and 2 new battery packs with better efficiency and improved range. There's a light exterior styling change that I'll show you in just a minute, and technology upgrades as well on the interior. Software upgrades for the interior also to help things out to flow a little more smoothly. One of those changes will have to do with this rim, and that's going to be with the area right here. That's thicker than it was on the 24, really 2020 through 2024 models. The easiest way to show you the differences with the exterior is to park the 25 on the left-hand side next to a 24 on the right-hand side, and you can see the difference in the overall design, not only of the headlights, but you're going to also notice the addition of the active air curtains that are going to be right here. That allows air to flow through the front end, improving aerodynamics, giving a little more efficiency to charge capacity compared to what we had over here on the 24. One of the ways that's being taken care of. Other than that, basically everything remains the same as far as the exterior goes. And for those who might want to see our LED daytime running lights, the lights turned on right here without the turn signal turned on, well, there you go. That's how that looks. Like I say, that has a nice, elegant, sophisticated look, as it should. Now, let's talk about charging. And something very interesting here. Now, this isn't going to be on every single model. In fact, you can see right here, this is just your more conventional style charge port door. But over here on the 25, I'm going to just do that right there. And you can see what happens. Now, here is the difference between the two. Your DC fast charging capabilities are not here on the driver's side. They're actually going to be over on the passenger side. And something else that's interesting is the fact that you can only have one charge port door open at a time, so they can't both be opened at the same time. But there's how you're going to use your DC fast charger right there. So you can see that you have a couple of different options where that is concerned. And one thing I've also noticed is to move my hand slowly underneath the sensor right there. If I do it too fast like that, it won't open. Just something I learned myself, but you might already know about. And when you have the remote on your person, you can walk up and just run your hand along like this. There we go. Make sure I do that correctly and open the front. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. There we go. See how talented I actually am here. 2.9 cubic feet worth of cargo capacity up here. So there is a little bit of space. It's nice and tightly sealed up here, so no water can get in there or anything like that. So whatever you put up here is going to stay nice and dry. And if you need to fill your windshield washer fluid, there is where you do that. And here is the remote for the 25 Taycan. No changes where that's concerned, but I know people like to see how that looks from all the different angles possible. And one of the advantages to that is, number one, you can open the front or the trunk in the more traditional position right there. And when you lock the interior, you can see the action of the power folding side view mirrors. They're also going to be power adjustable, have blind spot monitoring built in. All of that is going to be there. And when you walk up to the vehicle, it's not doing it right now because I'm already here, but you can see that the door handles will deploy out when I push the button again. That will come back out. It will do that when you walk up to it as well. And you can see the overall body lines. It's one thing I really like about the Taycan. Very, very racy looking. You know it's a Porsche when you look at it. And you'll have your nice large panoramic sunroof. And depending on the speed that you're driving will determine where your rear spoiler is going to be located or where its position is. Very interesting. Number one, there's a couple of things to note about that. Number one, you can actually bring it up like it is right now to wash the vehicle. So there is a position for that. But depending on the speed you're driving will depend on where it's actually positioned. And if the police officers who are around you aren't running radar and they know what they're looking at, they're going to know how fast you're driving by where your rear spoiler is located. We'll find the nice taillights back here. Everything's going to be LED. The Porsche logo right there inside of those taillights, and the Taycan 4S logo right here. I like that that's got the raised lettering right there. It fits the exterior color of the vehicle, but a very clean look from bumper to bumper overall. And how about those all-important numbers? Let's talk about that. So you're going to have dual electric motors and 509 horsepower. Unless you're using launch control, then it's 590 horsepower. That's really cool. 523 pounds-feet of torque and a 2-speed transmission. It is an automatic transmission with all-wheel drive. The 2-speed actually improves efficiency. And how about those all-important charge times? You can charge from 10% to 80% in 18 minutes with a DC fast charger, and up to 4 hours on a level 2 charger to accomplish the same thing. Your range is about 300 miles and 0 to 60 in a very impressive 3.5 seconds, a top speed of 155 miles per hour. And I say that 0 to 60 is impressive because you're talking about a vehicle that weighs 4,976 pounds. And how about cargo capacity? Well, we'll come right back here and push the button right there to open the power trunk. 14.2 cubic feet worth of cargo capacity. I'll show you a little bit around as far as what is in this area. And you can lower those rear seats. The releases are on the top of those seats. So there's nothing back here you actually will use for that. But here's something interesting that I don't know why I never thought of. I've never shown in one of my videos before. On SUVs, I'll often show how you can change the height of the rear door, of the tailgate. Well, you can do that here with the trunk as well. So if for some reason you needed this to maybe not open quite as high, here's how you do it. You bring it into the position where you want it to be and you hold this button down and listen for the beeps. And that takes about 4 seconds. So what you're going to find out is when I open the trunk again, then it's going to open up to where I just set it. Maybe that's a good option for some people. If you're looking for that, if that's convenient for you, whatever reason you might want to do that, well, that's how you do it. And all you have to do to put it back into the original position, wherever you want it to be, is just repeat the process. Very simple, very easy to do. Obviously, this button closes it. This button not only closes it, but will also lock the interior at the same time. And you're going to have the frameless windows, nice size armrest, and a bottle holder down there. And something interesting here is that you have the rear air conditioning vents for your rear seat passengers. I know a lot of you like that. That's high on your priority list when buying a new vehicle. And then you have the buttons right here for the heated seats. A little bit of storage down here. Now, what seems to be missing is actually not missing at all. Let's see if I can get over here into a position where I can show you that the USB ports are located right there. So down in this area, they're here, they're just not where you might expect them to be. So nice to know that they are indeed here. By the way, there is the panoramic sunroof. That is a true panoramic sunroof that basically runs the length of the interior. Nice and wide, plenty of space to see out of. And then here is the fold-down armrest with the cup holders built in. And this is my favorite style because when there's drinks in both holders, you can still use this as an armrest as opposed to having the cup holders in the more traditional position where they are next to each other up here as opposed to being in a more vertical position. Returning to the exterior for a quick little follow-up of something I didn't talk about earlier is the fact that you have soft closed doors. That's going to apply to the front and the rear doors. And when you hop into the driver's seat, everything is automatically going to start up. So nice and easy to deal with where that's concerned. There is a button to start and stop things right here if you need that. So In case you're curious, there you go. A very nice modern look with the instrument cluster. And I do apologize for the glare that we have. Just a little bit hard to deal with because of that panoramic sunroof. Just one of the things that happens here, but not really a big deal. I think you can see everything just fine. Here are your steering wheel mounted controls. I think you know what all is there. You can go through a lot of different information over there on the right-hand side. Pretty easy to deal with. You have your scroll wheel right here. And depending on what you need to do, you can go check all of that out, answer your phone calls, do all those different things right here. I think everybody pretty much knows what's here. And here is your drive mode selector. So depending on what you're wanting to do, we start off in normal. We also have sport, and you have sport plus. And then we can go back over here to range. So depending on what you want to do, well, there we go. Very easy to deal with. Pretty cool as far as that goes. And launching this model is super simple. If you're in sport mode, you can do that, or we'll go over here to Sport Plus as well. All you're going to do is hold the brake pedal down, mat the power pedal. It's not a gas pedal, obviously. I almost said it, but I'm not going to. It's a power pedal. Let go of the brake and off you go. Pretty easy to deal with. And you can see we have a very traditional look as far as some of the interior goes right here, something you'll find in every Porsche pretty much. Now, one thing that's not here is the optional screen for the passenger. In fact, it would be very difficult to see it from right here if it were here, but it's not. You can only see that from the passenger seat. So that's something that is also going to be different for 2025 to keep the driver from being distracted. And why is that? Because you can actually stream videos over there. So that's kind of cool. Passengers can watch Vehicle Visionary and the driver can listen. Pretty cool. I like that. And you can see the screen right here. You can wirelessly pair your smartphone. You have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And you do have navigation built in. So if you want to use that, you can. Or you can use what you have on your phone. It just depends on what it is you're looking for. A lot going on here. There's a lot of things that we can go through with this model, tell you about all kinds of different details and functionality. I'm just going to run through a few of these things real quick and show you what we have. We have some ambient lighting, which is basically going to be impossible to see, again, because this bright Louisiana sunshine. But I do have to give a thumbs up for that. I'm grateful that the sun is out and we're able to film today. And as far as the driver's seat goes, you can see what's going on there as far as the different balances for heat and ventilation, which, by the way, these are heated and ventilated front seats for the driver and the passenger. And speaking of the seats, if you want the massage function, well, you better not option in the 8-way adjustable seat. So that does not have the massage function. So in case you were curious about that, there is something that might be some useful information. And we can go into settings right here just to show you some of the features and functionality that is here. There's a lot going on here. You can go into displays and make changes where all of that is concerned. We can go back right here. You can see everything that is here, from voice control to audio. It's all here. You can go into navigation. You're going to have vehicle right there. So much going on. In fact, here's what we have. Remember I talked to you about manual cleaning for the spoiler? Here's how you control that. You go right here and you can raise that spoiler up back there, and then we can retract the spoiler. And all you do is just hold it down right there, and when it goes off the screen, then you know that the spoiler has been retracted. You get the message right there that lets you know. One of those simple little things that you might want to know about, but you're not really sure. There's your smart lift. If you need to use that, you can activate smart lift, and that's actually on or off, depending on what you want to do. I could probably do a full video on this infotainment screen all by itself, but we're not going to do that today and go through crazy amounts of information. But there's a lot here, but don't let that scare you off. It's not complicated. This is the first time I've worked with this infotainment system, and honestly, I'm having no trouble working my way around and finding out what I need to find wherever it may be. And the shifter is right here. For those of you who may not have seen that in the past, I know out of habit I've turned on the windshield wipers a couple of times, but this is your shifter. So you're going to go like that, push it down with your foot on the brake to go into drive, and then up to go into reverse. By the way, speaking of reverse, there's our camera views. And there are a few. I like the nice bright trajectory lines. Kind of nice to have something other than yellow. So a really nice look with that. And depending on what you need to see and where you need to see, well, obviously you can make some changes to that. So if you need to see what's going on and where it is, it's easy to deal with. I really like this. The hunt and peck method is going to do you very, very well. Go into park, we push the button right there, simple. Down here is going to be everything for controlling the air conditioning, and something that might be of interest is that you don't control the position of the airflow right here. It looks like you would, but when you put your finger up there, you find out that that's not it. So we control everything right here as far as our temperature. You have your dual zone climate control. You can go auto with your fan speed if you want to. Hopefully that's not too loud for everybody. I'm going to turn that down just a little bit just to be safe. You can sync the two sides together. You've got your ventilated seats right here. We can turn that on 3 different stages. We don't need our heated seats at this point. We will early in the morning right now, but I really like that. It's always nice to have ventilated seats here in Northwest Louisiana. And if you want to know about what's going on with your charge capacity, I showed you this screen earlier just to tell you a little bit about what was going on as far as your different numbers go, but you can see what we have right there. And you don't have to use that function on the exterior that I showed you to open the charge port doors. You can actually do that from right here. So as you can see, remember I told you you can only open one at a time. See how this one's grayed out now? That proves my point in case somebody in the comments section said that wasn't true. And yes, that does happen. Now, if you want to change the direction of airflow, I know I talked about how you don't do it like this. Well, I didn't show you exactly how you do it. Push menu right there, and there is how you actually do it on the screen itself. So we're going to select that on the lower screen and actually change it right here on this screen. So in case you were curious about that, yeah, I should have said that earlier. Cup holders right here, good size, plenty of room where that's concerned. And here is our center console. There is some space in there. And then we'll take a quick look at the upper console. Not a lot to really talk about where that is concerned. I know a lot of people like to know about that, so I'm just going to show you what's there. And then we also have our good size, trusty gloveless glove box, because I never find any gloves in there. Something else that I like here is the fact that you have seat memory on the passenger side and on the driver's side. Nice large door bins and nice large armrests. Obviously over here on the driver's side, we're going to have our typical controls for controlling the windows and our power side view mirrors, all that good stuff right there. You can do that. And the button right here on the left-hand side right here. Should I say left here or right here? I'm just joking. It's okay. Push that button right there on the left to fold those mirrors in if you want to. And I don't know how well my camera will pick it up, but there is a head-up display as well. Nice and bright. Obviously, that's going to be adjustable. And for those of you who watch me regularly, you might wonder, when am I going to give the price? Right now, just not where I normally do in the video. $146,545 is what it's going to cost you here at Porsche Shreveport. All right, here we go on the test drive. And a couple of things I wanted to mention that I forgot to mention earlier in the video. You have the frameless mirror up here, the rear view mirror, and you might notice that there's no lever to help out when there's somebody with their brights on behind you. Well, it's auto dimming. So you're going to have auto dimming rear view mirror and auto dimming side view mirrors on each side. So obviously a lot of fun to drive, soaking up the bumps here as we drive down this road that is not very well maintained. This is actually a private road, so you're going to have to drive a little bit. You can learn to drive autocross really well here in Northwest Louisiana, but this thing gets up and goes. Good night. That is awesome. You get a punch in the gut when you step on the pedal. Wow, that is awesome. And definitely notice the bumps here. Wow, goodness. That is awesome. And when you push the button to go up to that 590 horsepower, you actually see an indicator, a counter, basically, that's telling you how much time it's going to be on the windshield right there with the head-up display. That is absolutely awesome. I mean, this thing is a blast to drive. So much fun, which is what I expected. Alcantara wrapped steering wheel, and I like that. If If your hands get sweaty, well, you don't really have to worry too much about dealing with that issue as far as that goes because of the Alcantara. So that's a good thing. It is nice and comfortable, and it's not going to get as hot on warm summer days such as what we're having here right now in Northwest Louisiana. It is a little warm for this time of year, so it is nice to have little features and little things like that in the interior. Very comfortable interior. I'm comfortable with the seating position. I can tell that somebody who is in excess of 6 feet tall could fit in here with absolutely no problem whatsoever. I'm 5'10", so for me, it's very easy. So we're gonna cruise on down here just a little bit and have a little bit of fun. This is a good area to test things out a little bit and see what it's like to actually take off and launch. So we're going to do that from just a dead stop and see how it works. All right, here we go. Wow, that is fun. I have to say, that's the bad thing about being a drag racer. I've been in some extremely fast race cars over the years. The bad thing about that is that I don't get quite the same experience that a lot of other people might otherwise. But overall, a very, very fun vehicle to drive. Let's see if we can make a safe U-turn here. A legal U-turn, by the way. Make sure nobody's coming the other direction. And we'll go out here and have a little bit more fun. I tell you what, I'm not ready for this test drive to be over. This is one of the most fun vehicles to drive I've been in a while. But let's talk about the practicality. How practical is it? Well, it obviously is extremely practical. You don't have to have your foot in it all the time. In fact, I've never owned an EV, but I have a good friend who has owned several, and he told me that once you get that out of your system, it's not so tempting to do that. But you know what? Being that it's here when you need that extra power, it's nice to do that. So, and when you need to pass somebody, well, you know what to do. But I tell you what, it's gonna hug the road, it's gonna act and drive like a Porsche should, and it definitely makes life good when you need to get on the pedal a little bit. I'm so tempted to say gas, but I know it's not a gas pedal. Plenty of space. I don't feel cramped at all as far as being the driver in here. I'm very, very comfortable, and there's a lot of room to grow. So if I needed to actually change my position here, I could really reset the seat a lot more. If I was going to be in this car for a long time, I could do that. And the steering wheel is power adjustable. I didn't talk about that. There is a lever underneath that you use to control the position of the steering wheel. You might think that it's actually one of those levers that allows you to manually adjust it, but it is power adjustable. When you push on that, you'll find out what I'm talking about. And there is a lot of room for luggage. Passenger space back there is plentiful. A very nice vehicle. For the roof line, the way it's designed, I was surprised at how much headroom I had back there. And the technology is very easy to learn and use. A very well-balanced vehicle. Does it cost a little bit? Yeah, it does. But you really are getting what you pay for in this case. There's nothing quite like the Porsche experience. And there it is, the 2025 Porsche Taycan 4S. Is it worth every penny? I think it is. There's definitely a lot going on here. You get that typical Porsche experience and styling and just so much great technology. And while it looks so modern, it's not complicated to learn. Sometimes you can't say that of all luxury brands. So tell me what you think. I do want to say a special thanks to my friends here at Porsche Shreveport for loaning me this Taycan for the day so I could tell you all about it. I also want to say a special thanks to all of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. That helps me out a lot. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. Share this video on your timelines so other people can see it. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I'll see you there.